So I was sitting there vibing, looking at some earrings, and I was like, hey, I can make that. So I whopped myself down into the shop, looked around, and I saw, boom, right there, some copper pipe. I was like, works perfectly. I ripped off some old junk that I had taped at the top, and after that, I took her over and I found my cutty bits. My cutty bits was on the table, and I slapped that onto the copper pipe until it cut the copper pipe, as you do. After that, I took the copper pipe, slapped it over on into the vise, and then I took a quick little walk over to my little cabinet of cool stuff, slapped her open, and got the saw that I needed to use. I took that bad boy back over to the vise real fast and easy, and started my quick, very fast and efficient cutting process of the copper pipe. I then used my little dangly sharp bits to start to get her open, and then I had to press her over this horn here. I had to use a hammer. My hands weren't quite stout enough, and I flattened her out nice and flat as one does. I tossed her in the forge, caught it on fire. I might have burnt the hairs off my hand. Not important. Copper actually anneals when you heat it up, unlike steel. Steel gets harder when you quench it. Copper gets softer. And we want to get a softer just like that. It's all wiggly, soft, and loose. I cleaned her up so I could mark on her easily after she was nice and shiny. Took her to the house, measured her, sketched out a pattern that would fit on there twice, cut the pattern out, and I transferred the pattern with a Sharpie onto the copper. I took it down, cut it with a bandsaw, a little jiggly right there. Anyway, it looked just like this. Looked very great. I clamped them together, and I sanded them to make them look together. That's trippy as heck. Anyway, keep going, Jack. So after I sanded them and they were the exact same shape, I took them over, and I got the tiny hammer of power. I used the tiny hammer to make lots and lots of little tiny dents into the copper. And then after that, I cleaned them up again with a wire wheel, and I buffed them with my buffing wheel into my buffing compound. I marked out a place to drill a hole. I drilled the hole with my World War II era drill press. Don't make fun of it. It's nice and it still works. I got my earring bits out, unclipped the box, and I figured out which color I wanted to use, and I started to very delicately adjust the pins so they went perfectly, and it looked just like this. Is it the same as the picture? No, it's better than the picture. It is beautiful. I love you.